good. Okay, now we're going to go to 22, which is consider an act on approval of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the City of Aransas Pass, Texas combination tax and limited pledge revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2024, providing for the payment of said certificates by the levy of an ad valorem tax upon all taxable properties within the city, and further securing said certificates by a lien on any pledge of the pledge revenues of the system, authorizing the execution of any necessary engagement agreement with the city's financial advisors, and providing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor and Council, the presentation will be made by Mark McCliney of Samco. Sandra, do you want to introduce Mr. McCliney?
Good afternoon. Mark is here to present the bids. We had the bond sale today, and he has a tabulation for all of you right now, letting you know what the bids came in at and what the interest rate would be if you were to sell the bonds this evening.
Yes. Hello, Mayor and Council, staff. My name is Mark McCliney. I'm with Samco Capital Markets. I work with the city when you all go out and borrow money. This is a project, as you know, we've been working on since at least the fall, at least pulling me into this this development project. I'm sure you all staff had worked on it way before me getting involved, but in October we were here, Samco was here, and we were reviewing financing options for the police and fire facilities. At that time, we had run through your existing debt, added in the proposed new debt, what was discussed, and wanted to see how that would affect your all's tax rate. At the time, looked like we could do that without any tax rate change. So at your all's direction, we went and came back in November with the Notice of Intention Resolution. The Notice of Intention Resolution is just that. It's you as a city council giving notice to the citizens that you intend to borrow, and in this case it was an amount not to exceed $16 million for fire and police projects that were defined. We took that notice, it got published in the legal newspaper 2 weeks in a row, stating the facts that we have to put in, including what's the Attorney General requirements, and an estimated interest rate at the time. It gets posted on your all's website. 46 days after that, you as a city council have the ability to authorize those obligations unless a petition of 5% of the registered voters is presented. And so I don't know, Mary, if a petition's been presented.
No.
So no petition's been presented, so you all have the authority to proceed. Now, what was just handed out by Sandra was the bid tabulation. Prior to the bid tabulation, or prior to receiving bids today, we went out and got a bond rating from Standard & Poor's. The bond rating rates the city of Aransas Pass on a scale from AAA down to triple C, single C, and so forth. We want to be triple B or above. The highest is AAA, then it's AA, A, triple B. Anything below triple B is non-investment grade. We ended up at AA minus, which is where we were and where we wanted to stay, high investment grade, and that helps us when we get in the bond market. It compares us to all cities throughout the country, because you can't have bond purchasers use this rating because they're buying bonds from Texas, but they're also buying from cities in Colorado, perhaps cities in Kentucky, and it has to be a comparable rating system. That AA minus was where we were. The rating is very positive, and it allows us to sell the bonds without bond insurance to take us to the AA. And you may remember the federal government used to be AAA. They've been downgraded to AA. They can print money We cannot print money.
That's true.
So they're AA plus, we're AA minus. So we're in that same category. And so on a comparable basis, it looks very good. We went out and sold bonds. Bid sheet here is at your place. We had 8 bids. These are from throughout the country. The best bid is TD Securities out of New York City. Their interest rate was 3.63%. That puts us well below what we were projecting. We were projecting 4 3/4. It's $1,801,115 less repayment than what we were projecting back in October and November. You might say, why were we off so much in October, November timeframe? In October, the 10-year Treasury bond was at 5%. Right now, it's about 4.15. Interest rates came way down because some of the inflation figures that were out there prior to October started getting better, bringing down the 10-year Treasury bond, but that brings down municipal bonds. So we ended up much lower. Our total repayment, if you proceed, for putting $16 million into your construction account, total repayment is going to be $22,984,000. That's the interest. In 10 years, you have the ability to call those bonds, pay them off early from the back maturity forward, which of course would reduce that interest. Tax rate stays at or below where you are right now. So the INS tax rate, so your tax rate is broken in between general operation and debt service. Debt service tax cannot be used for general operations. It can only be used for debt service. The year you're in, the INS tax rate is 35.18. The projection for next year, now we have to use a projection because we don't know what the final taxable value is next year, is planned to be 35.182. So exactly the same as where it was, which is what we were targeting. In 2 years, that drops to 24 cents. Your debt is structured in a way, and this is what you want to be, every few years it drops. And that was something that this council and prior councils has put in place so that future councils could do projects without adding or increasing tax rate. So it was thought out well before, and what the council has done in the past. Just as prior to today, your debt service in 2024 was $3,000,001, drops to $2,000,005 in 25, stays $2,000,005, then drops to $1,000,005 and keeps dropping, and you're paid off in 2036 completely. Very few cities in your position, size, growth, location, are paid off in 2036. Now that changes, but there's a reason, and that's because you put in the debt dropping so that new debt could come in if city council chooses to do that. So with all of that said, I'm happy to address questions on the financing part, but with all of that said, our recommendation is to award the bonds, the certificates of obligation to TD Securities at the 3.6%. I've got more details if you want more details, but I don't want to do that unless you all have questions or want me to go into deeper details.
Good. You don't have any questions? Okay. Any questions from the audience? Sure.
We have questions.
Okay, you can go ahead and come up, and we're going to do it 3 minutes at a time.
Sir,
Yes.
that was not posted.
Okay, well,
I'll try to hurry, but
okay.
I think we need to do this in a civil manner. I know there's been a lot of shenanigans of late. I just want to have a responsible civil discussion, if you don't mind about this.
Sure.
Thank you. My name is Jay Moore McDonough. Good evening. I'd like to thank you for your service to the community. You invest a lot of time to this city, and thank you. I really mean that. In 2005, I co-founded Hunter Kelsey of Texas, a property tax lien lender with my partner Charles Brown in Austin. Under Charlie's leadership, Hunter Kelsey became the largest privately owned property tax lender in the state of Texas. I tell you this because I know a thing or two about property taxes, and I'm going to set it straight on the inaccurate information this city has conveyed to the citizens. I think we're all in agreement that the fire and police departments will need new and renovated facilities. I fully support our first responders, but let's do it the right way. Alan, can you please give council those documents? I'm very concerned with the lack of leadership this city has displayed. Poor leadership is bad for business. The following is the truth with fact, of which you will soon receive a copy. Sorry about that. I am shocked. After looking at the most recent and only available audited government fund statement for 2022, the Harbor Fund, Aquatic Center, and the Civic Center lost a combined $462,000. A loss. Gross revenues only total $24 million. The city would have operated at a $2.5 million loss if not for the $7 million worth of grants in FEMA aid. To operate profitably, this city is dependent on, listen to this, municipal welfare. 29% of the city's gross revenue was in the form of grants and aid. This aid counts as revenue. In fact, the number one revenue source for this city is municipal welfare. It's the largest revenue driver ahead of property taxes and sales taxes. Let that sink in for a bit. According to the city's recent audited report, unbelievably, we also have $20 million worth of existing debt. This is fiscal incompetence. In the attached legal posting by the city, our existing debt with interest is $24 million. In light of this, 4 council members would like to burden the taxpayer with another $16 million of new debt. With interest, this will be, well, it was $27 million in the posting. Mark, you just said it was 22, I believe. Thank you for that. With the 20-year term. The city wishes to fund construction by using a loophole to prevent a vote by the citizens. 4 council members are proposing to finance these improvements using a certificate of obligation or CO debt, and y'all have an explanation of that in your packets as well. This type of debt was created as a quick funding mechanism for emergencies, which does not require voter approval. This is the route 4 of your elected leaders have chosen. They do not want you to decide the economic fate of your city. They are stripping you of your rights, and that is the power of the vote in its trust. The council can use this loophole to fund this debt, but it is not the right thing to do. An example, a police officer can go through a school zone at 60 miles an hour at 8 o'clock in the morning. Can the officer legally do this? Yes, but it is not the right thing to do. It is wrong. If the 4 members of council do not do the right thing, the city will have accumulated a total of $46 million worth of bond debt with interest. This is irresponsible. No sane person would agree to this, and I'm scratching my head and asking why. Whose ridiculous idea is this? 1, to take on this amount of debt. 2, to do this without a vote by the citizens. I ask, who is advising this council? The city's budget is that of a medium-sized business. Look, folks, this is not rocket science. I ask the citizens the following. Please listen to this. There's a provision in state law requiring at least 5% of qualified voters to petition for an election to vote on this bond debt. A petition needs to happen tonight. I ask the council to sell the need of a new and fire police station to the citizens, but with correct information, not misleading, vague, and omissive information. The city has communicated false statements in its survey, in its meeting minutes, and in the Progress newspaper in 3 different messages, and here we go. One message by the city manager said, without a property tax increase. Another message from the administration said, without increasing property taxes in the newspaper. Another message in the survey said, without increasing the property tax rate. Which is it? All these statements are preposterous, omissive, and not truthful. The city has no control over the county, period. The city has no control over the 3 county entities that establish their own tax rates. Therefore, despite what y'all have been told, property tax rates and property taxes can and will increase over the next 20 years. The county, and only the county, establishes the appraisal and valuation of your property, not the city. Therefore, despite what you've been told, property taxes can and will increase over the next 20 years. Despite what you've been told, if your home value increases, the amount you pay in property taxes can and will increase. Therefore, your property tax rate will have increased. This is the opposite as the question posed in the survey. There are 5 taxing entities that make up the total tax rate. The city of Aransas Pass is only one of these entities. The city only has control over their own tax rate and not the others. If the intention of the administration is that there will not be an increase in the city's base tax rate of 0.76%, you should have disclosed this, and you did not. Therefore, false information has been conveyed to the citizens, and this is wrong. Incidentally, the tax rate for Aransas Pass is more than twice the amount than it is for the taxpayers of Rockport, which is 0.36% compared to ours of 0.76%. Chew on that one for a minute. For the administration to say for the next 20 years that property taxes will not increase or have an increase in the tax rate, well, this is just plain wrong and irresponsible. This alone should be enough for this council to pump the brakes and put this vote on hold tonight. I'm almost finished. Bear with me, please. The citizens also need to know that the repayment of this $22 million debt with interest will be paid from future revenue from property taxes, a pledge and a lien placed on the revenues from the city utilities. If the city goes in default, you lose your city-owned utilities. If this council chooses not to do the right thing, I ask the citizens, use state law to your advantage and take this to an election. Remember, only 5% of the voters will be needed to petition for an election. To the other 4 members of council, man up and please do not hide behind this loophole. The misinformation conveyed to the citizens in the financial quagmire this city is in, you have proof of everything I just said at your fingertips. These are your public documents, and I hope you all have been reading this. Our first responders of the police and fire departments need updated facilities. They deserve it, but do it the right way. Allow your constituents to decide the city's economic fate. Give them the opportunity to decide. Trust their judgment, and please postpone your actions. Council, the employees in our city government services and the citizens deserve your very best. I hope you elevate yourself by doing the right thing for the people and exercise true leadership. A leader must make difficult decisions at times. This is one of them. This is wrong for a multitude of reasons as stated. Do the right thing, pump the brakes, and be a leader. Now, knowing what you know now, which is the truth, and what you have just read from the documents, by a show of hands, who will vote against this bond? Thank you, Jason. Y'all really need to start looking. I will say that since there's no alternative right now, I think somebody needs to spearhead a group to petition for 5%. And I also further recommend an injunction to protect the citizens from the city and to prevent further action from the city on this bond. The city has provided and communicated inaccurate, misleading, and omissive information to you all, the public. Thank you for your time, and thank you for serving the community.
If I may, I've got a couple of things to say. One, not necessarily, no. From what I understand, the comment about the property taxes being increased or will not be increased, not by this bond. The property taxes will be increased by the county. They have that privilege to do
In all
that.
communications with reference to this bond
I'm-
has been.
Okay, well,
Just
she's
speaking
speaking right
to
now.
the
Oh,
public.
Nobody
Just
bothered
speaking
you.
to
You
the
had your
public.
time. So you had your time already, okay?
Yeah,
So now it's her time.
I
Now it's her time. So let's listen to her
So-
too, just like we listened to you.
So property
All right.
taxes, as a result of this bond, will not be increased by the city. We have no control over property taxes. That's a given. This bond will not increase your property taxes. That's what that statement means. Rockport, from what I understand, has higher property taxes, they have lower sales tax rate, or rate, they have a higher property value, therefore, yes.
Yes.
I'm not saying that correctly. Tell me how to say that, Sandra.
His statement is correct, and only the fact
Rockport
that
has
it's
a
correct
lower-
that the rate is lower. But what he failed to
Because-
inform the public is that their property value, which drives the tax rate, is significantly higher than
Yes.
Aransas Pass.
Yes.
That is one thing he failed to mention.
Right.
Yes, and I want to say something.
And that's-
I want to say something too.
Mayor and council, that's the
Okay.
reason we're trying to improve the community so that our values
Yes.
can go the same way. Right now, we've
Yes.
inherited a community with lower.
And Aransas Pass has historically had a debt. Aransas Pass has historically been high in debt.
That's not true.
Anybody that knows and pays attention to what's been going on for the past 8, 10 years, 7 years,
For sure.
we have brought the city out of the embarrassing debt that we could not pay any lender. We could not get any loan, any bonds, any grants, anything. When Sandra first came on, she was embarrassed when people would call, companies would call, and she had to put them off because the city could not pay its regular bills. We have got to a place now in Aransas Pass, under the leadership of Gary Edwards and Finance Director Sandra Garcia, that we are from the lowest rating of Standards & Poor's. We were at the lowest rating that you could get. The highest rating is a AAA, we're at a AA. That is a lot of responsibility from our staff.
And council.
And we were going to be downgraded right after the hurricane because of our history here. We were going to be, but we stopped that.
Yeah. We have increasingly, year after year, we have a higher, Sandra, again, you're going to have to help me with the terminology. We have a higher tax, sales tax revenue now than we've ever had in the history of Aransas Pass. We have higher property values than ever in Aransas Pass. We have more utility owners in Aransas Pass. That's what drives where we're at. That's what drives.
Yes, but she's done, and I think he's next.
Is this gonna take all night?
No.
Well, it might. I have that right. I can sit here and talk all night if I would like to.
Go ahead and do Gary.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, be
Okay.
quiet.
I'm listening.
Okay, I want to say something.
Uh.
Okay. When we first started, we have no money in the savings whatsoever.
None.
Now we have brought it all the way up to 38% of where we were at 3% way back in the day. We had a hurricane came through here, took out about 700 different residents out of here. We have gotten those 700 residents back and then some. We have literally moved forward with the city of Aransas Pass. And right now we gotten to the point that we need to think about safety for our citizens. Now, whether we talking about whether we can afford it, well, apparently we can. And as far as the tax that we're talking about, the tax rate for the city of Aransas Pass, we took it up to 79 cents. We're back down to 76 cents. We have more tax revenue coming into the city, and on top of that, we have more sales taxes coming into the city. That ever since the hurricane came, the sales taxes have increased at a constant basis. You can see the graph. Starts here and it's over here. So now, are we gonna stop and say, you know what, we can't do this because we are afraid we're gonna get back to where we were when we first started, and that's what you were saying, that are we gonna get back to it? No, we're not. I think we're being very responsible. Public safety is very important. Fire safety is very important, okay? Now, are we gonna slow it down and hold it back here while we're gonna do this? Well, something might happen to where we don't have that safety that we need for our citizens. I don't know about that one, because you know what? The city is growing, and we need to take care of the citizens by having the right safety, fire safety, police safety that we can have for everybody here. Now, can we afford it? Apparently we can, because we're moving forward. Now, when we're saying we're not gonna increase taxes, that means the money that the city charges per 100, time out, per 100, no, per 100. Okay, now whether the appraisal district raises property values, hey, that's them. That's all them. Okay, we can't help that. The only thing that we can help is our debt ratio and make sure that we're not increasing our property taxes per 100 as the city of Aransas Pass. So, for only way for the city to keep moving forward and growing as we have, because I know that the city limit sign says 82 in population, but in true reality, we're way above 10,000 people. Okay? So we really need to pay attention to what we really need as a city, not as an individual that, hey, this what we're doing here as far as the police department, the fire department, is for the citizens of Aransas Pass. Ain't nobody for here as far as for us. No. The citizens here in Aransas Pass need fire protection and they need safety protection. We can't be holding off on that because we think we can't pay the bill. Okay? The credit rating that we have shows and proves that we can do that and we can pay for it. And we will not go back in time. We're not. Me as a mayor, I want to move the city forward to where we have something, to where we literally, look at the fire we just had. Imagine if we would have it here, if we're, laying back and holding off on stuff like that. Well then, come on, man. It's like, we're here for the citizens of Aransas Pass. How many of here that are complaining are actually citizens? Okay, so I'll end with
You're
that.
not a citizen. You don't live here.
Hey, you know what?
You don't live
If you
here.
want to talk, you can come up here. I am a citizen from Aransas Pass, bro. No matter what you say. You can come up.
It's okay. It's okay.
Go ahead.
It's okay.
Bump your gums.
Number one, you just said you wanted for the citizens to let the citizens decide what we want, not y'all. Number two, yes, y'all can legally do it, but I've been to this meeting for 2 years, and I believe almost everyone has started with a prayer. So I'm guessing y'all would consider yourselves Christian. While this may be legal to do it this way, it is highly unethical and immoral. Thank you.
My name's Randy Haskins. I live in Aransas Pass, Texas. Unlike you, Mr. Mayor, and unlike him, and him, and him, we pay taxes here.
I do too.
On your business you do, but not on a
And his
residence.
home.
Oh, excuse me?
You don't have a residence here.
Yes,
Oh
he
my
certainly
God,
does.
where you from?
Yes, he certainly does.
You're
Have a home
ridiculous,
here.
bro.
You want to play games?
No, you know
You live over in Gregory with your girlfriend.
I'll be quiet.
Good idea.
I'll let
He
you talk.
still pays property
Go ahead.
taxes. It's ridiculous.
The thing about it is, it's still the same. He doesn't live here, and he makes the decisions for this town. It don't affect him if we go under. He don't care.
He lives on Highland Avenue.
I know his house is over. He parks a car there and everything. We already know about that, and he lives in Corpus. Anything else, Carrie? Or can I continue?
Let me think about that.
Yeah, well, you think
Okay.
about it a while.
You can continue now.
Before I start, I want to make it very clear. I do believe that the fire department and the police department do need new buildings. I'm not going to take that away from them. But I'm very concerned about the misinformation the city manager is conveying to the council and to the community, regardless of the funding for the fire department and the police department renovations. On November 8th, the city conveyed and published to the Progress newspaper that both plans the city administration has promised would be advanced without increasing property taxes. Quote, "This is simply false. Only San Patricio County has the full authority to assess property values, not the city. Property taxes are based on the tax rate established by the taxing districts, and amount of taxes are based on the appraised value of the property. This city manager cannot sit here and guarantee the citizens of Aransas Pass that taxes will not increase for the next 20 years or for the term of the bond. This is false claim by you, Mr. Manager. I'm going to ask you, you said a minute ago that this will not affect the city taxes. The city taxes will not be raised. Did you not say that?
City of Aransas Pass taxes, now whether they increase
Yeah.
by appraisal, that's out of our control, accept that.
Okay, but the city's taxes, you said they won't be raised.
Correct.
So you're not going to raise the city taxes for 20 years. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, we can't control that. We
That's
don't know
what
who's going to
you're
be in the
telling-
office.
That's what
We
you're
don't
telling
know
us.
who's
Right
going to
now,
be sitting
right
here
now,
in 20 years.
Right now, we can control what we can do. Now, whether
Okay,
20
listen.
years from now, I might not be alive.
Mr. Mayor, you just made the statement that you're not going to raise the taxes. And now you're not going to guarantee me you're not going to raise it for 20 years.
He's
You can turn
guaranteeing
on-
that as
Yeah,
long
I'm
as we're
speaking.
sitting here, that the taxes will not be raised.
I'm
As
speaking.
long as we are sitting here.
I am speaking.
I hear you clearly.
Good. You can come up next year or the next year and raise taxes on us and sneak it in. But are you going to guarantee me and these people out here that you're not going to raise it for 20 years? No, you can't do that.
Didn't know.
Separate,
Is that
sep-
said
I'll be
somewhere?
here next year.
you may not be.
That's
Was
right.
that, was that said somewhere?
Yes, it was. He said it.
He said it verbally, he said it in the
He
newspaper.
said it just a minute ago. Weren't you listening?
I don't know, we're having some different things.
Don't know.
Okay, well, keep on,
Okay.
'cause we're not gonna keep on and on.
Only San Patricio County has the full authority to assess property values, not the city. Property taxes are based on the tax rate established by the taxing districts, and the amount of taxes are based on the appraised value property. This city manager cannot sit here and guarantee the citizens of Aransas Pass property taxes will not increase for the next 20 years for the term of the bond. This is false.
We've
Can you
said
do it,
that.
Mr. Manager?
Continuously, we've said that. Property taxes, we don't have control of that.
Can you guarantee for next 20 years that we're not going to have higher taxes?
If you get into office and you're running for office now, you're up there campaigning, then I can't guarantee what you are going to do when you get in.
I didn't ask that question.
I'm answering your
That's the
Hey,
dumbest
that
thing I've
is a
ever
true
heard.
statement, though.
That's the truth.
That's a true statement.
Do what?
That's a true statement. Because when we're saying we here, we're talking about we. Now, next time around, you're a different person. You might get elected, but you're a different person. You have a different mentality. So then, we cannot, you can only control what you want. Now, if you want to higher property taxes, that's you. That ain't me. Okay?
Ram.
That is what we need to understand here.
Ram, don't throw that back at me.
No,
These
oh my
people,
God.
these people are the ones that need that, to know that.
It's a very, very big responsibility.
Well, then why are
to-
you telling untruthful statements about it? Why don't you say,
no.
yes, it can probably be raised in a couple years, but right now we won't raise it? Why
Mark,
can't you do that?
Yeah,
Mark,
here we go. He wants to say something in reference to what you're saying.
Go ahead.
Again, my name is Mark McCliney. I'm with Samco Capital Markets. I work as financial advisor for the city. Couple things I do. This is a city council decision, so
Yeah.
it has to be either you all deciding or not. We did the notice of intention. We gave. Let me back up a second. My boss helped write the CO Act of 1971. Purposely set it up for capital improvement projects such as this with a 5% registered voters or qualified voters. That was set up purposely, not as a way to circumvent voters, but to give them an opportunity to petition you. The original rule was 30 days. It's now 47 days. It's been added, and then the legislature, the last two sessions, have been more specific on what projects can be done. They eliminated the ability to do City Hall last legislative session. You can do a certificate for COs for a City Hall, but then you have to pay it out of the M&O tax, not out of the INS tax. So we specifically, council and your staff, followed the exact 1971 CO Act as amended with the facts. Again, you as city council have to make the decision, but in that, Exhibit A of the Notice of Intention Resolution outlines everything that we had to say. And yes, one of the things is no tax rate. Now, it's easy to get confused with tax rate that you control and tax levy that taxpayers pay. We say collectively, and we're here in October saying it, and in November, that this can be done at the same tax rate. The appraisal district controls everything else. Both sides have made that clear. The three appraisal districts that the county is in, that the city's in, will look at each property and they will appraise it. If property values go way up, state law requires property taxes to go down. Requires it. You can get 3.5% increase in value, in levy. So if valuations go up by 15%, your tax rate has to go down. So you promised collectively when you authorized it that we could do this without a property tax increase. We can. And I want that, we followed the 1971 CO Act, and it was purposely set up with 5% of the registered voters because it wasn't an attempt to go around the voters. If you have a bond election, throw $20,000 extra on costs. It's a way to avoid some costs for something that hopefully is not controversial. So it's controversial, obviously, but the purpose of the CO Act was to avoid $20,000 of calling a bond election. That's what Norton Rose Fulbright typically charges. That's the legal fees to do it. So that was why the CO Act was created, because there are projects that needed to be done, emergency and non-emergency. So that was the purpose. We've met all those requirements. So rate and levy are two separate things, and when we go back and forth, it's easy to say one and mean the other. We've talked rate from the get-go. And because we talked it over the combined, the M&O and the INS. And we use the same the same INS rate. If valuations go up, more than 3.5%, your M&O rate has to go down. So there's nothing we can do about that. That's just state law. A couple other things they said, we are pledging utility systems. Yes, we are. $1,000, and that's the maximum. It's called a limited pledge. So, and that's in the offering document. Yes, you're authorizing these to be paid from bonds, but you pledge $1,000 out of the utility system. So it's not, you're not putting a lien on your utility system. If by any chance you would default, which you never would, the most someone could get out of your utility system is $1,000 over the old 20-year loan. So, I mean, it's not, it's a combination tax and revenue, certificate of obligation, limited to $1,000 on your utility system. One of the last things I would bring up, again, it is your all's decision, but what we've worked on from the staff to the council to moving forward was to get it done, as I said, without a tax rate increase. The dollar amount we're repaying back is about $1.8 million less than what we were projecting back in October and November, to the benefit of obviously all the citizens. And then the very last thing I would point out, some of the numbers that were thrown out on negative fund balance. The city, I've worked with the city since Rick Wanizak was city manager, probably 33 years. The city has never been in as good financial shape as we are this moment. Yes, we spend more in the law audit. That's FEMA money. We have an IOU from the federal government to cover those expenses. The rating agencies that have to review all of this look at that and say, that's an asset waiting to come in. Yes, in the year we did the project, and we have an IOU to cover that. That's a good thing. So your audit, your financial picture right now is stronger than it's ever been. And it is something that you all collectively, staff and council, should be very proud of where you are right now. I do want to correct one thing. You were not at the lowest rating. You were in the BBB category, which was the lowest investment grade rating.
Yeah.
You could be a
Lowest
junk,
investment.
that's not a junk bond.
Right.
Junk bonds would be BBB, BB, C, and so forth. You were just the lowest investment grade. Now we're up to one of the highest ratings available. Best financial position you've ever been in. So I'm happy to address anything else, but those are things I just wanted corrected. Regardless, it is your city council's decision.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in the last 7-8 years, when I know the three of us took office, we were at that very, very low place.
When the hurricane came in, Gary was right, we were put on negative credit watch.
Yes.
And they gave us 18 in negative. I'm not going to get the exact percentages. Standard & Poor's, again, they're independent. They have nothing to do with my company, nothing to do with cities. They get paid by people that buy their service in order to know what ratings are, what Aransas Pass is compared to Oklahoma City or any other city throughout the country. So I believe it was 2/3 chance in the next 2 years that they would downgrade you, is what negative credit watch means. And what happened is we didn't go negative credit watch, we got positive upgrade. We got a better rating because everything you all did. We cleaned it up. We had FEMA, lots of money coming in, sales tax money coming in, and our audit got better each year.
Yeah, and the way I understand the way we handled all of the projects under the FEMA and the CDBG grants, we were rated so highly on those projects that we even received more funding or more
An extra $5 million.
an extra $5 million because of the way we handled some of those projects. Yes. Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
So that's that. Or just
So-
again,
So
city
it's
council's
go-
decision.
So it's going to be extremely important to anyone that, Lord, please, we need responsible people up here to replace us at some point. We don't want to be here forever. But that's a huge responsibility on somebody to be sitting here to be able to continue the forward progressive growth that this city has had.
I think 'cause we get paid a whole lot of money, don't we?
And and we get paid a whole lot of money
Yeah.
to be sitting here.
Okay, I'm still gonna go
We
back.
get paid $1
We
a
get
year.
zero.
Can I speak now, please?
Yes, you can. You have
Thank
3
you.
minutes.
Oh, I don't get more than 3 minutes, brother. Can you still sit here and guarantee these people that you're not going to raise our tax rates for the next 20 years? Can you
No.
do that?
Absolutely
No.
not.
How long
Then
is
why
the
did you
loan for?
post it?
How long is the loan for?
It's a
20 years.
loan, yes,
20-year loan?
Why did you post it then? That's what you said in the
Because we
papers.
Distinguish the difference.
Well, if we're sitting here for 20 more years, it won't happen. But we're not going to
Yeah, well,
be
that's
sitting here
that's
for
a
20
real
more
smart
years.
answer there,
Uh-huh.
Carrie. But
We're not going to be
all right.
sitting here
We're
for
talking
20 more
about us.
years.
What?
We're talking about us. We're not
I
talking
can't hear
about-
you.
We're talking about us, not about you or anybody. As far as whoever is here that's different, they might have the same thing as you. They might even think a little different.
They
They
might
might
even-
want to raise taxes because they want to buy more stuff and
We
they
might
need more
even
money
be-
coming in to buy more stuff.
We might even be in the hole over it and this
Come on
city
now.
dies.
I can tell you
Because
this.
of the money.
I can tell you this, with this much debt, we're not gonna lower the tax rate. I can tell you that right now.
I don't know. We're doing a lot of
What's the
moves coming
amount
in.
of debt? Add this 16 on and we got what? 40 million? 46 million that we're in debt?
Well, I mean, it's a totally, it depends.
I don't think
It
that's the right
depends.
number.
It depends on,
It's close.
you know, in 20 years, how many more new homes, new subdivisions, new projects,
Okay,
new businesses come in.
It's
It all depends.
$30,114,000.
It all depends.
31 million before adding the 16, of which 9 million is covered by the utility system, of which means net to the city is 12 million is general fund debt. 12 million, this would be plus 16 if city council approves it, puts you at total of $28 million supported by taxes. Just trying to clarify.
And we would
It is-
never
it is
been,
correct.
we would never been approved for this bond if we didn't have the ability to
Carrie.
pay it back.
Carrie, listen to me.
Plain and
Let me
simple.
say something. The reason the people are mad about this and not wanting this to go through is because the roads aren't paved. We got dilapidated houses all over the place. We do not have curb service for anybody that wants to move in here, or curb appeal, I'm sorry. We don't have curbs either, but we don't have curb appeal. We had some businesses wanted to come in here at the harbor.
And tell me why they don't.
You tell me why they don't.
Because you have to lease it and they don't want to spend any money on it.
That's the correct
That's
answer.
right. No, that is the truth. Would you spend $1 million on building something that you cannot own?
I said
You can only
that's-
have it for 39 years. No, you're not.
I said
So get your,
that's the
get your,
correct
get your stuff straight.
answer. I said get your stuff right. You were saying the right thing. I'm not doubting that. But why don't we sell off the harbor? Make some money.
Well, because the last time that happened, the whole council was recalled. The city didn't want that.
And
The
guess
whole
what?
council was recalled.
And guess what?
Yes.
That
The
being
city
said,
didn't want
I'm gonna
us to
say
sell
this.
the
That
harbor.
being said,
Don't say it.
all right. Next.
Okay, let me finish. If your intention is not to increase the base tax rate for the city of Aransas Pass for the next 20 years, and this is not disclosed, and this was not disclosed in a transparent fashion, this city council must have an unpleasant conversation about the city manager. We do not believe these facts and figures are correct. We believe that it's higher. He talked very eloquently. I believe what's the city debt right now? 21?
31.
I'm sorry,
He just said it.
28.
Mayor,
28?
Mayor, the 3 minutes are up.
Okay.
I
Okay.
get to talk as
Okay.
long as I want.
No, I'm gonna tell you like this.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna keep going on and on and on about this, and whatever. Either state something that you're gonna say. If not, we need to let somebody else come up here and express their opinion just like you. I don't want to. I'm just saying.
If you quit interrupting me, I'll say
Well,
it.
hurry up and get it done.
Yes, sir. Again, we go back to all of the allegations in the news that you printed in the newspaper saying that this was not going to happen. That's why you got the people all pissed off. okay? If this doesn't go to a bond election, you're making a mistake, is all I can tell you. But understand one thing, Chief. I don't have nothing against you getting a renovated building. I don't have one thing in the world against it. And I think you need it. And the fire department needs a new building. But if we can't pay for it and it puts this city underground, then that's their fault. They're from that end on. That's all I got to say.
Well, the city has the, not directing this to you, I'm directing this to everyone. The city has the ability to pay this bond. If we did not have the ability to pay this bond, we would never been approved for it. We have to keep moving forward. We, the city, the staff, are doing a phenomenal job.
I actually have some questions. And you may have stated this, and I didn't hear it, and I heard the 20-year loan. What will the monthly payment be? Approximate.
We do payments semi-annually.
Okay.
But the annual payment will be approximately approximately $1,144,000 a year.
So about $100,000 a month.
Fair enough.
So y'all are saying we have that money right now. What are we doing with $100,000 a month right now? That $100,000 that's going to pay this bond, what are we doing with that money? Where's it going right now?
It's going to current bonds that you currently have that are going away, being paid off to allow for you.
When will they be paid off?
Well, you have multiple bond issues outstanding. You may remember when I first started the presentation, we talked about this in October. Cities should be in a position that they have dropped stair-step debt. One of those old debts are going away, and this is coming in.
Is that one old debt $100,000?
Well,
I think it's more.
the payment in 2024 debt is $3,469,000. That's
This one bond?
No, ma'am. That's all general fund debt service bond payments in fiscal year 24 is $3,469,000.
So the one bond that we're getting ready to drop, how much
So
of that is
next
left?
year, without any new debt, the new payment is $2,505,000.
Okay.
So the drop from $3,469,000 to $2,505,000, that's a drop, the stair step.
Right.
This goes in and replaces that.
Okay.
So what bond is it? I'd have to look at,
No,
go
that's
through
fine.
several, but
Yeah,
it's
'cause
it's
we're
structured.
So-
Yeah, but we're fixing to pay off the Civic Center and the swimming pool here in 2027.
Okay.
Mayor.
So with that, if we're gonna have $100,000 a month, basically, let's just say, if we don't do this bond, we've got $100,000 a month to spend.
No, ma'am.
No.
Why?
That's not
No,
how it
no.
works.
Strictly, the money that we collect to pay the bonds
Mhm.
can only be used to pay the bonds.
So it's
You
either we go
cannot-
more in debt,
you
or we go
cannot-
less in debt.
You cannot use it to pave streets, you cannot use it for any of that. That money that we assess.
But we could do a CO bond to pave streets, to
Yeah,
put
that's-
water and sewer
that's
lines
what
in.
City council funds, yes.
Okay. So with that being said, what other options have y'all looked at besides just building a brand new building? Because I think everyone in the city, nobody doesn't want us to have adequate buildings. And for our first responders and the fire department, the police station, we all get that. But the money's got to be there. And second, what is the emergency? Why can't this wait 3 months and put it to an election and let the citizens decide? Because typically a CO is for emergencies, and I don't understand what the 3-month thing is. Why can't you wait 3 months and put it on the ballot?
Are COs for an emergency?
They can be,
Generally.
therefore.
Like I
They
said,
can be, but they're,
like
A
the
they don't
safety
have
can't
to.
wait.
You can go to the comptroller website and it'll tell you, they are generally for
A
emergencies. They
CO
don't
is the
have to be.
only
You
form
cancel,
of funding
can.
that does not
Can
have to go
vote
to
on
the
it, but I'm
ballot.
just saying, they can, generally they're for emergencies, but what's the rush, what's 3 months? Why do y'all need to decide right now and not put it on the ballot and let the citizens decide?
Amen.
Mayor and council.
Well, for-
And what else, what other options have y'all thought of?
One-
Okay,
one of the
let Gary go ahead and
reason
speak.
Is the rate increase. The the potential rate increase. Just
But it
today,
could also go down.
Just today, we were at 4.75, going down, and what's going to happen in 3 months?
It could go
If you
down.
can predict what the Biden administration is going to do, then we'll listen to that.
Well, it could go down, it could go up. I mean, we don't, it's a gamble, but I'm just
Exactly.
saying, what's the,
Exactly.
what's,
It's not that it's in a hurry. It's so much that right now we're in a good situation that it's probably a good time to do it. And again,
without
I'm going
the
to say
citizens'
it.
vote?
I'm going to say it again. Why are we going to wait on safety and fire and fire or
you're
police
worried
safety?
about
Why
that.
are we
I'm
going
worried
to
that
wait?
there's no fire hydrants for the fire trucks to put out a fire if there's one in the middle of
I
town.
think we have a pretty good system on the fire hydrants. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, actually, they get.
How do they get
worked
the
on.
water to them if there's no water in some of these city blocks? I would have guessed there's not a fire hydrant if there's not water there. I'm just saying. So you start looking at 7th Street, 8th Street, all of those that are right in the middle. If that catches on fire, we got some problems. That's awesome that we got a new building, but you're not going to have water to put it out. So I want to know, what other options did y'all look at to where we don't have to spend 16 million or 14 or whatever y'all want to say it's going to be? What other options did y'all think about? Or did y'all put numbers to any other options? Did you look at, we have the property that's over by the Civic Center to put some portable buildings for a while? For just a few years to put some office space? Did y'all even consider that or get numbers for it? And if not, why not? They're good enough for our children. We put our kids in them.
Well, that's the school district, and that has nothing to do with the city. It's two different things. It's
But what
like
would be the
Lowe's and
difference?
HEBs. There's two different funding sources, two different entities.
Also, keep in mind.
Well, no, I'm
every-
not saying to put it at school.
Also, keep in mind, every June.
You said it's good for our kids.
Yes, I mean, if it's good enough for them, it's good for adults.
let him
It's
finish
safe
over
enough
here.
for the
But
kids,
the,
the children.
I related that to putting kids in portable
No, I
buildings
was
at
like-
schools.
Every June, we address what needs to be done in the city and what we plan to do. Some members of the public who are interested in the community attend that particular meeting. And we get good input from the community. And then that goes into the budget. Every June we do that without exception. Well, for the past 5 years, we've done it anyway. I don't know if you've attended those or not.
And
but-
I've attended
We,
multiple meetings.
we
maybe
have
not the
a
June
plan.
meeting.
Yeah,
We
do
have a
plan
plan in place to put infrastructure into the places in the city limits that do not have utilities.
And keep in
That
mind.
is a
I mean,
plan. There
I'm
is a
assuming that's the
plan
plan
in
that's in the
place for
master
that.
plan. Correct? Like,
Okay.
y'all have a master plan?
Yes.
I'm assuming that's what you mean, that I go to that to look to see where,
No.
in accordance that would be.
Well,
We're talking about
no.
every June we work
Every-
on the budget.
every year.
And members of the public attend that and say, we would like this. I don't know if you, I
So
don't
then-
think I've ever seen you there, but I hope you started
I've been,
attending.
well, actually, I was at your workshop meeting, the first
No,
one.
not in June. You haven't
No,
been.
not in June, I wasn't, I'm sorry, I was in the
That's
middle of
where
grieving my
we-
dead
we-
husband,
we-
but thank you for
We
asking.
have.
We do it every year.
But we
Every
do
year.
have a plan in
In
place annually.
So because I wasn't there in June,
No,
you're
every
gonna
year,
ridicule me?
every year
This
we
is
invite
why.
every year we invite the
Oh my God,
public
y'all
to
are
come in.
ridiculous. Absolutely
and
ridiculous.
state your thing.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I'm
You're gonna
trying
fault
to
me because
explain to
I
you that
wasn't
we-
at a June meeting.
That has
and I don't
nothing to
know.
do with
I'm
anything.
asking y'all what y'all asked.
No.
The three of you sitting up here, or four, I don't know where, Joe's hasn't been around that much. What other options did you look at?
We really did not look at any other options.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
No, we weren't looking for
Good.
other options.
Good.
Hey,
We
Mayor.
didn't need other options.
Next.
Mayor,
Yes.
we have some people that are watching online. If the engagement, they're just asking if they could be communicating at the mic because they can't hear everybody.
Oh, yeah. Can y'all please talk to the mic?
Yeah, we're talking about. Okay, I'm Mark Lunsky, and I'm a business owner in town. I own a bunch of properties in town, and we need to. I'm not disagreeing. We need a fire department, and a police department. The cost of it, $16 million seems like a lot. I've been a builder all my life. How did you come up with the number? $16 million for a. I mean, it looks like a fancy place. Doesn't belong in here. This is California style stuff.
Well, it's
This
12,
is Aransas
it's
Pass.
12 million for the building. It's not 16, it's 12.
That-
Even
correct?
still.
That's a fair question. but
Even
keep
still,
in-
I'm a builder, and I value budget. I've been doing this all my life, and I can build a lot for 16, even 12 million.
Keep in mind, if I may.
Go ahead, Gary.
Keep in mind that approximately 4 to 5 years ago, this same firehouse and police station would have cost substantially less but the increase in materials and the increase in manpower to build has, and COVID is part of it, but not all of it. The increase has
Mary.
been substantial and dramatic. We agree with you. The cost is high, but that cost is natural. All cities are seeing it. Not only cost in building, not only cost in infrastructure and such, but cost for everybody going to the store. It's just absurd, the increases we are seeing compared to just a few years ago that we have no control over. And this has been a big part of the debate on the national level also.
Well, I think we ought to do a competitive bid thing to get some real numbers, so we know exactly, we're not
There
getting
has
one bid
been-
because
there has
you're
been
talking one developer. I mean,
There's-
I've been around a long time, and one guy's gonna give you a number because he don't have nothing else to do, and he just don't
The
care.
feasibility study was conducted. We did that, and so this number didn't come out of the air. It's, again, you've raised a good question, and that study is what we are going by. And they did some very preliminary design work with that, very preliminary, but enough to give an idea of what this cost is going to be. That is done. It's been done for, I don't know, it's been
Well,
done
I'm just,
for a
I looked at the
while.
plans, I looked at the billing, and I guarantee you value engineered down 2-3 million without even just changing a couple things. I mean, it doesn't fit the narrative for this town. It's like a Hollywood place. I mean, we put a nice barrel on the side, and we got, that it just doesn't fit the neighborhood, and that's all I'm saying.
Well, that
about
is an artist's rendition. That is not the
Yeah.
exact to scale.
And I'm with the
of
citizens with
that's
everything,
gonna
like I
happen.
said, about the cost and everything too, but I'm also looking at
Yes.
the cost of everything, but also we need
Yes.
to, rather than just throw in everybody's face, and let's do a cost
Well,
analysis and see if we can bring the price down.
When we put
Bring
these
it down
out to
$2, $3,
bid,
$4
you're
million,
certainly
everybody might go
welcome
for
to
it.
do that.
Okay, yeah, we will put it out for bids, and you're more than welcome to acquire your bonds and everything to be able to bid on
I'm not saying
it.
I want to build it, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying,
You're more than welcome to bid on it.
I don't want to build it,
Here we
I don't
go.
want to get involved in
Here
this
we
stuff.
go.
I'm just telling you
Here we
my
go.
opinion here, as a
Yes, I'm just
citizen.
saying.
I pay sales tax, I have a business in town, I have 3 businesses in town, I have 20 homes, and I do a lot for this town. I pay taxes too. I'm worried about taxes, just like everybody here is worried about taxes.
Yeah, I just paid 40,000 last month.
And I live in this town, and I'm going to die in this town, but I want to make everything right too, for everybody. And I'm thinking we all, everybody's got the same, I think, goal. Y'all are good people, I'm assuming, because you wouldn't be elected if you weren't. Okay? But I think we all need to get on the same page and come to some kind of medium negotiation. And in my opinion, this is only my opinion, I think that 16 million or 12 million for a fire station is too much. Do the police department, the fire department need? I'm all about veterans and civil citizens. I'm all about that.
Hopefully, when it gets all drawn up and we put it for a bid, the bids will come out a lot less than what we're talking about.
But you're talking about borrowing 16 million from this man, right?
Well,
If we need it.
yes.
But your establishment.
No, there are our financial advisors.
Yes.
Okay, can we put that on a contingency to where we don't borrow the 16 million right now? We just wait until it comes in or not?
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. TD Waterhouse, TD Securities
Yeah.
bought them,
Okay.
subject to city council approval.
So this is an all or nothing deal?
The bid goes away if they don't approve it. Just goes away, and then the expense.
What's our rate right now? 4.7? 1.8?
You mean on these bonds, on this bid?
Yes.
3.62, I think is,
Yeah.
I'm just going by
And
memory.
we can only use the money
For-
for this project?
For
No.
specifically, the notice of intention, you can only use the money for what the notice of intention resolution states. That notice of intention resolution states, just want to make sure I read it correctly.
Well, I'm just saying, why don't we throw a utility bill in there that we can use it for streets and water?
Okay, so we can't change it now because that was the notice given to the citizens.
Well, why don't we just do a renotice for the citizens?
Then you got to start over.
For everything?
Everything.
Wow.
So the purpose, constructing, acquiring, purchasing, renovating, enlarging, equipping, and improving the city's public safety facilities, including a new fire station, and renovating and enlarging the existing police department building, constructing street improvements, including utility repair, replacement, and relocation, curbs, constructing flood control and drainage improvements.
Oh, that right there, you got a clause right there. It says flood control and
Yeah.
drainage and curbs.
Yeah.
We could put new curbs in there and roads and everything,
Yeah,
right?
so the idea is if we get good bids, we can't do anything for City Hall, for example. But you could do some streets, yes.
So we get bids and we include the streets we want to improve and the drainage and everything,
No,
right?
you would do, well, if council.
That's the way it reads, I'm reading it.
So this is what the money can be spent on.
Right.
That's it. Can't be spent on anything else. So we have priorities. Police, number one.
Absolutely.
Police and fire.
Absolutely.
If money's left over,
Okay, there we go. Now you're getting more run. Now, we only spend 11 million or 10 million on the fire chief or the new place. We can spend the other 3-4 million on our road structure and our
Yes.
water and
Absolutely
everything.
correct.
Yes.
not water and sewer.
There's another point too, and that is value engineering that you correctly referred to. That happens at the design level.
Right.
It doesn't happen at the cost estimate
I think maybe that's where everybody's kind of confused, is that this money's just not going for that one project. It's going to go for other things in the community if there's money left over, which comes down to value engineering.
Yes,
Am I reading this right?
correct. Correct.
Okay. So that we're,
Value engineering, that's going to be our opportunity to bring down the cost to allow
Correct.
the excess.
so we're basically arguing about something that already existed. We're going to use it for, what's left over is we're going to use for the community.
That's not the point, though. The point is the people want to decide on this, not them. They should have the right to decide on it.
Okay, I'm not getting in the middle of that. Like I said, I don't know how this started. I came in and late on the program. I'm just giving you my evaluation, what I see as a businessman and a participant and a property owner and a business owner. I pay taxes, a lot of taxes in this town, and I'd like to see my money go towards something that I can value and use in the future for my kids, wherever I'm leaving it to. And then since you touched on the Con Harbor thing, can I touch on it?
On the what?
The Con Harbor thing?
Con Brown Harbor.
Farm Brown Harbor.
I want to build out there. I've been trying to build there,
Yeah.
talk to Red for 2 years.
Yeah.
I've been talking to
Okay,
Gary,
well,
and I'm
that-
going to give him a
That's a
proposal.
totally different conversation, but we
Wait,
could have one.
Okay, I won't bring it up.
It's not the item.
We,
But-
right now, not right now, but maybe
I'm
later.
going to walk away. I just wanted to put it in your
We
ears.
want you to build. Come
Come
build.
visit me sometime.
That's another conversation.
I'm done.
You're right
I'm just
there,
saying.
right? I'll go visit you.
I'm just saying, I agree. I want the best for the police and the fire department, because you know what? After last night, yeah, they protect us. And I want nothing for the best of them. I believe in the blue. That's
Same
all I'm
here.
telling you. But I think, like I said, I think everybody needs to understand that we need to, whatever the community.
Okay, you already had your turn.
He keeps coming up here.
No, you already had your
I
turn.
just want to say something calmly, okay?
Calmly.
Yeah, but
You
you
guys are talking.
already had your turn.
It's okay.
I want to say something. This was brought up since I talked. This man is saying if we've got anything left over this $16 million, that you can use it for streets and all of that road repair, right?
However it was worded in that contract.
Y'all might have wanted to put that in your notices of everything else, because it would have made things a lot bearable for a lot of people, because these people are mad about the streets, the drainage, everything else. If you would have put that in there, he's the one that did all the paperwork.
Yeah, we got a $5 million grant to fix the Euclid station, the pump station, to fix all the drainage on that side. We just had a conversation on that on Friday.
Okay.
See,
What
we're
about all
touching
of
bases,
the-
we're touching bases with a lot more grants, not that just particular one, and that is to make sure we cover the old infrastructure, the old streets and stuff. We actually have been repaving streets and fixing streets, and we have been putting money in the budget to be able to accomplish stuff like that.
I understand that.
Okay.
But there's where the curb appeal comes in. If we can get all this stuff cleaned up and straightened up, we can bring businesses in here. Portland just got 7 new businesses. Why couldn't we get some of that?
I don't know, we've gotten a few.
You've gotten a few? What have we got?
Yeah, we got a few.
And we have a subdivision coming in. Retail
Go, Mark.
follows rooftops. It doesn't go the other way around. Retail follows rooftops.
I understand
And
that.
that's what we are working on, and they are coming in. It's not a matter of
many
hopeful,
rooftops that we can
it's
get.
a matter of happening. When rooftops get here, then more
Well-
retail, although it's improved retail, more retail will come. But you gotta have the rooftops. To answer your question, Portland has the rooftops.
Yeah, I know.
We do not have the
I know.
rooftop. We are changing that finally and attracting people to the community because of what this council has been doing, most of this council has been doing.
Understand that. City Manager, but Ram, you said that the 8,000 is not true. We're over 10,000 people. We're closing in close to Portland, right?
Portland, I think is more like, what, 30,000?
No, they're over 20
No,
right now.
20,
20?
20-something. Yeah, so we're half their size.
Okay, well, if we had better infrastructure and things cleaned up.
We're working on that as well.
Yeah, if the city would have been taken care of way before us, we wouldn't be having the issues that we're having right now. But we have corrected a lot of that for the past, okay? We went from paying bills, cash, okay?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
So, well, no,
I'm
it's not
just
fine.
telling.
No, it's not fine.
Oh,
It's
it's
fine
not
that we're
fine?
a lot gooder now or better now than we were way back then.
Ram, you're getting argumentative with me
It's
now.
not-
Let's go to the next person.
I'm not done.
But I did
That's
want to
right.
say, when you were talking about we do have many dilapidated homes and structures in this town. But in the last 4 to 5 years, we have actually
Go ahead.
demolished
The city-
over 128 buildings.
It's higher than
Carlos
that.
wants to speak.
It's higher.
Excuse me.
The ones down, that on the
sir.
main roads?
I know I just got here. But what agenda item are we talking about now? I'm lost. There's, the only agenda
No, we're
item I
completely
see,
lost.
we're not talking about it.
Yes, we're
We need
lost.
to keep the meeting on the agenda item. When you get off the agenda item, you may be violating the Open Meetings
I
Act.
believe
So
we're on agenda.
Come
We're
back
talking
to
about
the
this
item,
deal.
come back to the item. And may I suggest something else, Mr. Mayor? A little more order. When you have an item like this, you call the item, you explain, you get whoever's putting on the item to make an explanation, you open it up to the public for a public comment. Let them comment. Now, you can set a time limit under your code of ordinances. You're allowed to do that. You've set out rules of decorum, none of which have been followed today that I see. You should follow those rules. Let the public speak. Give them a certain, don't respond. Don't, it's
This
it's
is a
an
meeting where
opportunity.
they can respond to
You
us,
see?
sir.
You see what I'm talking about?
That's because you're going on and
You
on.
see?
Thank you.
Let them speak. Let them speak. Give them a certain amount. Don't respond. Let them speak. Let them speak. When they finish, when they
If
finish,
we're asking questions and they won't speak to us, what's the point?
and when you're supposed to be addressing the council, you're supposed to be addressing the council and the mayor. You're not supposed to talk to each other or to talk to other people or to respond to other people. I'm talking to the mayor and to the council. I know that people want me to respond. I'm not going to. I'm talking to the mayor and to the council, suggesting this is the only way to get public business done, is let the public speak. Once they're done, they've spoken, then it's up, then the council, one by one, says their part, and then you call it the question. That's when you take your vote. And you either vote it up or vote it down. That's the end. And you have some, in your code of ordinances, you have some rules of decorum. The only way to have a good meeting is to follow those rules. If you don't follow the rules, there's no point in having
Can I ask
any
you something,
rules.
sir?
Thank you.
That's it. That's it. Now it's her turn.
Okay.
My name's Teresa Lindberg, and I'm a resident here of Aransas Pass. I want to say I'm looking towards the future of Aransas Pass. I see people wanting to build down in the harbor. I see our city building getting better. I remember what our city used to look like, and I think it has been beautified a lot. I've seen a lot of the houses come down that were dilapidated. I see the progression of the city doing a good job, and the residents pulling together and working along with us, with each other, and doing their part too. I've seen Portland where their fire department is too small now. All of a sudden, they've built and they've grown, and now they have to probably build another fire department. If Aransas Pass needs another fire department, and if that some of the money goes to building a new fire department, I mean, it's expensive. It's expensive to build. It's expensive for security, for like anything now. Like it's expensive. And for the police department too, for the safety of them in the back. I mean, I went and took a tour of both facilities, and it's the safety of the people that are there, it concerns me. You know, I mean, I'm really surprised that that's not a gated area for them to drive their vehicles in and out of. And same thing for the fire department. You know, we're talking about wanting to be safe for our first responders, but we need to take care of them. And I think just, it might be expensive now, but I see us planning for the future, for what Aransas Pass can be. Because I don't see Aransas Pass just being like this. I see us as a flourishing seaside area that's right there with Port Aransas, and right there with Rockport, you know, where we are the place to come to. We are the place to be. And so I'm hoping that if we do go through with this, if we do move forward with it, I mean, I'm really hoping that we will go ahead and we continue with the infrastructure and we keep moving forward, putting one foot in front of the other to make Aransas Pass the place that I know a lot of us residents see us as. We see, like, I don't know about everybody else, but I see that with us. And I want more for us. And if we're going to plan on doing that, I think we need to go ahead and plan accordingly. You know, might as well go take care of everything, get it done for the future of Aransas Pass, for what could be a flourishing harbor, what could be businesses and homes. I mean, we've got so many more beautiful homes now that I'd like. I'm proud to be an Aransas Pass resident. You know, and so if we're going to do this for them, you know, for the future, you know, why don't we plan big for what's going to be big for Aransas Pass? So, but that's my feeling. That's my feeling, and I know all opinions are different, and I know everybody doesn't agree with me. But I'm planning for what could probably, hopefully, one day be a boardwalk down in the harbor. What can be, you know, huge restaurants and multiple homes, and you know. So that's what I see for Aransas Pass. But I just wanted to put my sense in there. So that's all I have.
Anybody else?
My name is Danny McElroy. I am not a citizen of the city. I work for the city and I live on the edges. Your fire department last night was out there closer to my house. You do need a new police station. Your firemen need a place to live. A lot of people here say that a fire station, that's just where they go to work. The average person goes to an office and goes home and sleeps in a bed. These guys are sleeping 4 guys in 160 square foot. I've went and looked at it. I've talked to them. I've talked to some of the officers. They live in a little bitty area. The safety of your firemen and your first responders is key. And you've got guys sleeping on bunk beds, dropping off. I lived that life for 30 years. I know the injuries that they can sustain. Those guys today have been back out there. They've been out there all night. They were out there all day again today. You need a new station. When they moved into this one, at the point they moved into it, I talked to some of the guys and told them they were already behind. They're in a little bitty house. That's what we call it. I've seen the plans for the new one. It is nice, pretty much state of the art for what they need to do and perform as first responders. They're going to have enough room for, I think they're double thick, 4 stalls, double deep. When you look at a ladder at 46 foot and engine companies at 36, 37 foot long, you got to have room to put equipment. I've seen on Facebook and so forth about the contamination. Every firehouse in the country's got contamination from the exhaust fumes. The new design has all of that stuff. Their bunker gear, their air packs, and all their high-end stuff that can get contaminated is on one side of the house. It's away from where they're going to be. So if I was a citizen, I would tell you, go ahead and build these guys a new fire station and let the PD do what they've got to do also. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
My name is Doug Grazens. I'm a resident of Aransas Pass. I too have toured the facilities that our first responders operate in on a daily basis, and from my personal experience serving the military, the only place that I've ever lived that's more cramped than where the fire guys stay is in Iraq. That's the only place I've ever been where there's more guys crammed to a smaller room. And that's just unacceptable. It's not a tomorrow need, it's a now need. And I believe these guys need it to operate better. We're the only full-time fire department short of Portland on this peninsula. We get called to everything from EMS to fire. We're the first on scene. Our police department does a great job, in my opinion. I know everybody has different opinions. I support the fire department and moving forward with it and the building, but I want to say that I think we have a communication problem in this city between its people and the government, and we also have a participation problem as citizens of Aransas Pass. Nobody shows up for anything. Like, that's a problem. We can't want things and have new things and see a better future for this town if we don't participate. All of us, collectively, and on fighting and arguing all the time gets nothing done. We need to have a mediator for things, and we need to have a way to come and talk to each other peacefully and get things done in a way that is productive for everybody. I see big things, and I want to second everything Teresa said. I see big things for this town. There's a reason I'm here. There's a reason I started my nonprofit here. And I just want to continue moving forward towards that. But I do think we have a communication problem, and we need to fix that. And I don't know what the answer, I don't have the answer, but it exists, and it needs to be fixed. Thank you.
Totally agree. I agree.
Nate?
Jason Followell. Good afternoon, Oath Breakers. So you were talking about the population, Ram. The population of this town's been the same for 12, 15 years. If you go to the U.S. Census website, it'll show us at 877, which is about 575 higher than it was in 2010. So my question for you is, why do we need a new fire station if the population's not growing? And yes, it might grow one day, but that don't mean it's here now. So have we had a third-party expert come out and tell us what we need? Forgive me if I don't take Chief Blanchard and Kelly's opinion on stuff. They seem to lie a lot. So these guys came out and told us that we had a hazardous atmosphere inside the fire station, but have yet to show me any documentation from an industrial hygienist that came out here and told me exactly what's wrong. Are we going to do that? I've been asking you for weeks about it. So you want to build a new firehouse, and you're telling me there's carcinogenics in this firehouse, yet you're moving the police department into a firehouse with carcinogenics. No? And you wonder why people get up here and get upset? Y'all don't know what y'all are doing. What changed? What happened? Who came out and told us that we needed it besides these two men? I hear citizens saying that we need it, and that's fine, but do we actually need a new firehouse? Can it be renovated? Can we save a ton of money by just renovating it? Can we add more space that way? Does the renovation get rid of the carcinogenics? Alleged carcinogenics, I'm sorry. Y'all have yet to prove the documentation that shows me that there's carcinogenics inside the facility. Ram, I'm supposed to talk to you, right? Is that something you're going to do? Are we going to get an industrial hygienist to come out here and tell us what they're talking about for carcinogenics? It's in your newspaper, and they've said it numerous times, even called me a liar on Facebook about it. So are we going to get one to come out here? Not going to speak to me? Not going to speak to me. Okay. Jason Knight, do you know anything about that?
No, they haven't talked about anybody coming out doing any testing in it.
Okay. Have we had anybody come out and actually tell us what we actually need besides in-house party?
No, I said that study that we approved, a year ago, and those people came out and pretty much said where the fire station should be and what we should look at building.
And does that include renovating or just building a whole new one?
That was part of that was for the new fire department.
Building a whole new station. So there was nothing planned on doing any kind of renovations. We cannot do a renovation to the firehouse. I mean, I'm trying to save us multiple millions of dollars.
Well, actually, that I agree with you on.
Where is it? Where's the study? Show us. Y'all came in here and said you're for the people. You got a new attorney that said he's for the people, but yet won't talk to the citizens. So shame on him. I've got a mayor that won't talk to a citizen who's giving actual data that you will not produce, and you have no rebuttal to it because you don't know what you're doing. Jason gave me something, but you still don't have a whole piece of the pie. Shame on y'all. Take it to a vote, to a bond, because you four people should not hold us for everything in the city. There's more of us out here that have more of an opinion and need data that you will not provide to us. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Andy Davila, lifelong resident of Aransas Pass. 60 years I've been here. Where's that lady at that said that Aransas Pass has come a long way? Rockport, Port Aransas. When I was little, we were ahead of them towns. Rockport looked like Aransas did when we had the harbor with all the shrimp boats. That's what Rockport looked like. We stayed where we were at. Port Aransas, I used to work there when I was a teenager. It was no better than Aransas Pass. I was happy to be a resident here. Right? I'm sorry, man. I know you for Aransas Pass, and I back you up with so many things I can tell you like Aransas Pass, or you love it like I do. That's why I'm here, because I love Aransas Pass. I've been here, probably it looks like I've been alive a little longer. So I've seen a little bit more, and I've seen people in all these different high places that have done good, and a lot of them have done bad over the years. They all know it, all of them. They got secrets they're going to take to the grave. But anyway, but to get back to that, as I was growing up, Rockport started changing, and they started cleaning it up. I guess they got the right people in there, because we all know what Rockport turned into from around 1980 till today. And we know what Port Aransas turned into definitely from the late 70s, 1980, when we were all doing the same things to get our town going. Y'all weren't here. But then people that are in there now weren't there neither. And they did what they had to do to get the towns going where they're at. Ingleside was like Gregory. And I ain't talking bad about Gregory. But Ingleside was comparable to Gregory. Ingleside's ahead of us now. They had 3,000 people, we had 6,000, 7,000. They got more people than we got. I can't say for sure if we got 8,000 or 10,000. But if we got 10,000 people, maybe we need to do the right thing by counting the population and wasting the money, some of that bond money or whatever y'all talk about, and put the proper population that we have. So we don't have to be going back and forth about we have 8,000 or 10,000. In my opinion, I believe we got 8,000, because with my family alone, it's 2,000, 3,000, and half of them are gone because they don't want to be here because of the streets. Some of them bumps on them streets. I could close my eyes and you could just turn me in a circle, drive me around all around the pass, and start taking me down some of those back streets. And once I started hitting certain bumps, I could name what street I'm on, how far the block I'm in, because them streets have been like that since I was in high school. And for some reason, y'all just want to pave DeBerry, and that's it. Every so often, you want to pave DeBerry, and that's it. Like, I've lived from check to check since I've been working. Before they started taking out money from my income tax, I was making $10 and $8 in Port Aransas, and then I started working on. They used to let us work and breaking the law. We were all teenagers working at Miss Pete's Cafe. Some of y'all may remember Miss Pete's Cafe. And then, so I've been working all my life is my point, right? So I pay taxes, but I live check to check. And when every year I worry about opening up that tax letter that we get to find out if the taxes are going to go up. Regardless of what they go up for this man's trying to get through your head to buy, he's not going to pay the bill. This man ain't going to pay the bill. Y'all ain't going to pay the bill. Some of us ain't got 20 years. You ain't got 20 years. I'm sorry, it's the way it is. You ain't got 20 years. You ain't got 20 years. I don't even know what to say about her. I don't even know if I should say I hope she don't or she don't. Right? But most of us ain't got 20 years, but our kids and grandkids that are going to live like me do. They are. That's who I'm worried about. That 20 years for this payoff here, you said, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I know I'm talking kind of loud. But you said, well, I don't know what we don't know how long we're going to be here. So why don't you take it into consideration that you're not going to be here? And that the next people that are going to come in here, they might raise it. And it's going to affect people like me. people that make less. Why don't you take that into consideration? Instead of saying, my hands are up, I might not be here, I might not be here. Yeah, it ain't gonna bother you if you're here or not, because you're gonna have the money to pay the taxes, whatever it's raised. With what you've made here, sitting there, you say you don't make no money. I bet a good penny. That
Andy,
you
I have not made a dime since
Anyway.
I've been here off
Anyway,
any
I'm
project or anything.
I'm talking.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Sir.
That is ridiculous. You're completely
believe-
off. Andy, number one, excuse me.
No, ma'am.
No, excuse me.
Ma'am.
You are completely off topic. We need to get back to the agenda item.
Okay, ma'am. I mean, sir, we need a police. We need something better. I was in there the other day, and it's the Rands Pass Police Department's always been itty bitty, right? So in reality, we need something, right? And we need something for what y'all do. You're the fire chief, right? We need something, right? But you said something about 20 years down the road, okay? In 20 years, you're gonna build this $16 million thing here, right? Top of the art. That some man said that it's probably more than we need here right now. As far as what might be in it, right? I don't know what's gonna be in it. $16 million, $12 million is probably more than that big school that Portland just built. So why can't you just roll back a little bit and think about the people? I don't know why you want to do this so fast. There's no need in it. Because people like me, it could affect my living. And not just me, thousands of people that are out there. There's more people like me out there than there is people like you sitting there. You don't have no worries. You're not going to worry about it. Like you said, when you leave, you're going to be retired. You're going to have money. You paid $40,000. How much you must have a lot of money, Mr. Mayor. But I don't. And I'm just one, right? But I'm just starting this. I bet if I get a bunch of people, I would have, neither do I. But I don't think it would matter. Because you're doing this for some reason. Some reason. You want to get it through there real fast. And sir, you said something earlier about the cost of material being up so high. Well, why can't you think about adding on then? Instead of buying all the material for the building, you just buy some of it to make it bigger and renovate it. And you could have something just as good and it'd be cheaper. And you wouldn't have to spend all that money, like you said. But I don't see it going that way. You know why? Because I am who I am. The citizens of Rands Pass that are like me are not with y'all. So y'all don't care about them. Everybody's got their groups of people and they're all in higher places. That's who you care about. And they don't need it. They don't care. They don't care about the bumpy roads because they don't know. They're never there. Roads that I go down every day. Hitting them roads, hitting them bumps. Bumps that been there when I was in high school. So you go ahead and you do what you got to do, all right? But you live with it. You live with it. Live with it.
Anybody else? I'm up there, Dennis.
My name is Dennis Peacock, and I live here. I'm a resident, and I'm no differently than the rest of you, except I'm retired, and I don't know how many of you are retired. My concern is very simple. You know, I believe in the public because I worked 50 years for the government, so I'm for their interest. But at the same time, I wanted to comment on something very positive. Your Public Works Department, you just had a street paved. It was Beasley. Very impressive job. Goes all the way down from Avenue A all the way to 361. And I admire your in-house workmanship. I didn't expect it, but I appreciate it. It turned out excellent. My concern is too, when you're wanting to build a building, when I see what they did in-house within y'all's concern, as for the city manager and his capabilities of getting it done, I also see your in-house capabilities from a standpoint of building buildings. If I can serve in that interest, I will. That's what I've done in the past. So I appreciate your interest in being here because I know you go through a lot of abuse and it's hard. But serve the public, that's what's most important. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them, but I'll be around.
Anybody else? Okay, now, what's the favor of the council?
Well, I got something to say. This has been up for a long time, and I've talked to a lot of people in person, social media, even people in here. And what you said's right. The citizens deserve the protection from fire and police, and no one in this room or this town is against either one of them or they're crazy. So that statement is true. But as elected officials, we should have the citizens' utmost interest in the back of our heads nonstop. We're about to approve the largest debt load in one motion times 2 in the history of Aransas Pass. And the people are the ones paying the bills for this building. So the right thing to do would be to table this, get it prepped for a bond election, and let the people vote on it. And Mary, I'm presenting that in the form of a motion.
So that's your motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a second to his motion?
Okay. Is there a motion?
Okay, yeah. So there's no second, so the motion dies for lack of second.
Jason, you got our vote next year, buddy, this year.
Do we hear a motion? Vicky?
What's that? Oh, OB.
Yep, we're here to vote.
Okay. I don't have the right.
You want to read it, or you? Go ahead.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the ordinance authorizing the issuance of City of Aransas Pass, Texas Combination Tax and Limited Pledge Revenue Certificates of Obligation, Series 2024, providing for the payment of said certificates by the levy of an ad valorem tax upon all taxable property within the city, and further securing said certificates by lien on and pledge of the pledge revenues of the system, authorizing the execution of any necessary engagement agreement with the city's financial advisors, and providing an effective date.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I will not deny the taxpayers the right on the final say-so on this, so my vote is a big no.
Okay, and Mayor, did you vote? Did you vote?
I say yes.
So the motion, the ordinance passes.
Let's go to the next
Okay.
one. Go ahead.
We're good. Now we're going to go to consider an act on request from DNA Productions for the use of Con Brown Harbor on April 12 through the 15th, 2024 for the first annual Fish Fest event.
Hi, guys. My name's Amanda. That's Donnie Maslony. We're DNA Productions. We just want to put on a festival.
Sorry, I thought he just spit on the floor.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Okay, go ahead.
It was gross.
Yeah,
But I'm sorry, I didn't
That's
mean to
okay.
interrupt, but that was just disgusting. So go ahead.
Anyway, I'll just make this brief. I know it's been a long night. We are putting on Fish Fest. It's going to be April 13th through the 14th. And we want to hold it as an annual event, just like we did Salsa Fest, but with a few changes. We're asking to utilize the location of Con Brown Harbor. And did you guys get packets with the, you did? You got the maps and everything?
Yeah,
Let me,
stick that on the package, I think.
here, I'll bring them.
Did we get that?
Yeah, they got them. They were in their packet, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
yes.
And we are actually asking for use of that underutilized area, if you'll look at your map, in
Where-
Con Brown Harbor.
Do you have a map with you?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
sorry.
You
wanna click it, Gary?
I needed
The
another
map?
map.
Up in the
I don't have it.
Yeah.
I bet you want to. It's in there.
I just need the map.
It's the two right there.
Oh,
There you go, Jason. This is the back packet that we posted. And I just want to be clear.
There you go. Is that right in there, right? That's that.
That's it. There's another one that's actually defines the location, like the streets.
Right there?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, uh-huh.
Okay, so the event would be held right where my little drawing is, right there.
That yellow spot
Okay,
right
now when
there.
you see the traffic stops, it's actually, we're not blocking traffic. That's going to be basically like a flag man that pauses traffic during the long-distance casting contest. So let me back up and explain what we're doing. We're putting on a festival. Basically, it's a fish fest, and so everything fishing. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to focus on family, fishing. We've got pin perch tournaments, sheep's head tournament. It's a free event for the community, and we're actually asking for use of Conroe Harbor from a day before and a day after for staging, and then for cleanup, basically like porta potties being, cleaned up and everything. So basically, we're asking for the 12th through the 15th to be able to utilize that area. It's the area between, what is that road?
Bigelow?
Turnbow?
Yeah, can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. And that's it. It's actually perfect for a long-distance casting competition.
Really?
Yeah, we actually have, there's a long-distance casting competitors that are very it's a thing. And we had no idea until we started doing the research. So that's basically what we're asking for. Am I missing anything, Don? I'm sure I am.
So the days that you're asking is for setup and also for breakdown? Is that-
Correct.
okay.
We're asking April 12th through the 15th.
But this event is a 2-day event, correct?
It is only a 2-8. It's like 13th through the 14th.
Right, it's
Right,
two
correct,
days.
right.
Okay.
And so we're going to be doing an accuracy contest. We're calling it fish hole, similar to cornhole, but we're using fishing poles. We're doing some crazy stuff like mullet tossing, long distance casting contest, pin perch, sheep's head tournament, and like I said, we'll do beer and wine only, and then we'll do lots of vendors. And we're also asking the public as they enter into the festival. We're going to give them a ticket so we can count heads this time, so we can kind of see how many we're bringing in. And we're also asking them for either a donation, monetary donation, or canned good that we'd like to give back to the local food bank, just to give back to the community. 'Cause
So
we
will
do
you
realize-
have like an entry gate somewhere that everyone's going to go into?
Correct.
Okay.
We're gonna kind of funnel it in
Okay.
at a certain area, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but again, it's a free event. We're just asking to give back to the food bank.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
So is this the first one, or you?
This is, well, we did Salsa Fest, and we'd like to do Fish Fest
Okay.
annually as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Salsa Fest was a great event.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you very much. We tried very hard on that. And we have actually in your packet, as you'll see, we've gotten quotes from some reputable security
Good.
companies to have security at the event, and overnight
Good.
security, since it is a 2-day event. And then we also we took the liberty to go ahead and get a certificate of insurance naming the city as additionally secured.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
So are you substituting that security for law enforcement?
No, what I'm asking, what we'd like to do is just a little bit more affordable. We love you guys, but
No,
we
I
it was
understand.
expensive on our end, and so since we're getting sponsorships and donations, we are looking into alternative security. And since we're not asking TxDOT to shut down the streets or anything like that, it's just going to be on that green part.
Okay.
We really don't need.
Do you have a projection maybe of what you're looking at as far as people coming in on this?
We had, let's see.
Rough, I know.
Donnie, help me out on that. It was one security guard per 100. Help me out on that.
actually talked to several security companies, and I did a head count at Salsa Fest, and we have approximately 250 people attending the event at one time, and it could get up to as high as 400, we imagine. We're hoping to have more, of course, but the first security company thought we should have 2 guards considering the event, and another offered 3 guards, thought we should get 3. We went with a higher number for 3 guards for security, 1 armed guard, 2 unarmed guards. And of course, we are going to be on the long distance cast. We were worried about casting a long distance, traffic being in the way, so we did put some stops there for traffic. If we do need local law enforcement for that, we'd be willing to work with them, no problem, to make sure it's a safe event. And we're also excited to add that we have some sponsors that are willing to make sure every child gets a fishing pole for this event, so no one's left out of the perch contest this year.
Right.
So we're excited about this event.
So to go back to the traffic, as you see on the traffic stops points, that is basically just our flag people, volunteers, basically pausing the traffic. So as you can see where the long distance cast is, as the competitors take a few minutes to cast down that distance, we're asking the traffic to pause just so there's no strays, and then they can go through. It's all through traffic. It's not a big deal. And like he said about the sponsors about the kids fishing, that's actually drawn a lot of interest online. And we actually had a foundation called Kyle Cares, Amoeba Awareness Foundation, that said they'd like to sponsor all of the kids, what it's going to cost overhead, and they'd like every child to have a fishing pole and gear for that particular event, which I thought was pretty generous kind of thing.
That's pretty awesome. That's good. Yeah, that's good. So, okay. I think it's going to be a great event. I don't have any problem with the location, do y'all? No?
Mayor, I do have, I'm sorry to interrupt, and I appreciate the private security aspect. We actually transitioned a lot of that during Shrimpery as well to bring those costs down. The unfortunate thing with that is there is going to be a potential for inundation. Security will simply intervene and hand off. So I would expect that there would be some discussion and expectation that we have police extra for the event in case you do knock it out of the park. The other thing is, Mayor and Council, because this presents public safety situations that could arise, we don't charge for it, but right now, but I would love to have meetings kind of like what we did with Salsa Fest.
Absolutely.
With the command team, just so that we're prepared from a public safety perspective.
Absolutely.
Fire EMS.
Would you like to have the meeting with the security company that we hire, or just the two of us?
You might have a representative. There
Okay.
is a company that we use during Shrimpery that has been great. I'm not
That you could
promoting them or
suggest,
nothing.
or okay.
But what I'm saying is we try to work into some of that planning with them as well.
Yeah.
In case there are issues, we want to have those contacts available.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we
Sure.
absolutely want to work with you.
Awesome.
And yeah, no, thank you for that.
And I wish them the best. They
Thank you.
did a great job organizing.
Thanks.
I wish they all would organize in that fashion when they want to have an event publicly.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I think y'all done with questions. I'll make a motion to act on a request from DNA Productions for use of Conroe Harbor on April 12th through the 15th, 2024 for the first annual Fish Fest event.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now we're going to go into executive session. Section 5.1.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with his attorney to seek legal advice on the matter was the duty of the attorney to the City Council under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act in Section 551.087, deliberations regarding economic development negotiated related to commercial contract with 630 Ransom Island Partners, LLC, for unimproved property with an addendum of special provisions for an Oasis CAD number 310, a 28.61 acres of land on Ransom Island, Track 7, commonly known as 630 East Ransom Road, Aransas Pass, Texas. And it is 7:23.
the mayor to sign the First Amendment to deed without warranty with Vendors Lane and Third Amendment to property disposition contract HB 1740, property Aransas and Nueces counties. The state will release Track 7 if it is remediated and clean up pursuant to the terms of the deed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thanks, guys. Sorry.